One of the biggest things that can hold you back in life and love is not knowing your worth. So let me get this out of the way. Your worth is a constant. It doesn't rise and fall based on what other people think of you. It doesn't rise and fall based on your successes or failures. It's inherent in who you are, and it's the equal of anyone's. But for so many of us, our feelings of worth do rise and fall, and they rise and fall based on social approval, and more specifically, male approval. So if a woman gives you a compliment, you're like, oh, that's so nice. But if a man gives you a compliment, now that really means something. Out of all the kinds of approval you can get, approval on the job, approval on social media, approval from your friends, nothing feels quite like male approval. Because when a man looks at you in that special way and he flirts with you and he acts incredibly attracted to you, you feel on top of the world. You feel like your entire essence is being affirmed, like the spotlight is shining on you and lighting you up from tip to toe. When a man looks at you and very much likes what he sees, you believe in yourself even if you normally doubt yourself. You feel like you can do anything. It's like eating a slice of cake and downing a Red Bull. It's completely amazing. And so no wonder that's what you want. You want a man to look at you in that way. You want his masculine affirmation of your feminine essence. You want to be the woman to his man. You want to forget everything except the delight that dances in his eyes when he looks at you. And so that's why so much of the advice we're given is how to find out what men like so that we can give it to them. We want to know what men find attractive so that we can make ourselves into the kind of women who are looked at in this way by men. We admire those women who are showered with male attention and approval, and we want what they have. But what we don't realize is that this is also a fatal flaw. When our sense of worth depends on how men see us, we are very vulnerable to manipulation, because it's very easy for a man to give you attention and compliments and then see how you react when he withdraws, because he can see then how hard you're working to please him. He can see how much you want him to approve of you. Now, men treat women differently when they can see that these women desire their approval. And they often respect these women less, and they don't treat them with as much care and thoughtfulness. And so that's why I believe one of the very best things that you can do for yourself is to know your worth. Know your worth independent of social approval. Know your worth even if no one approves of who you are and what you do. And that way, when a man offers you attention and admiration in exchange for you giving some of your power away to him, you will know that it's a bad offer. Any relationship where you are not treated with respect and kindness and dignity is not worth it, no matter how good his attention makes you feel. Hi, I'm Amy Waterman. I am a love expert here at yourbrilliance.com. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing 3 ways that you can stay grounded in your self-worth as you search for love. If you're anything like me, you're raised in a cultural narrative that told you that the purpose of a woman was to be in relationship with men. So your worth was somehow linked with your desirability. And if a man didn't choose you to be his wife, then you hadn't fulfilled your purpose. Now, society is slowly changing, but there are still so many of us who are raised with those beliefs and carry them, even though we know consciously that we are worthy regardless of whether we're partnered or not. So the first way to ground yourself in your worth is to get really clear on your answer to this important question. What is the purpose of a woman? So you were born into a female body for this lifetime. What does that even mean? I have a lot of conversations about that topic nowadays as the parent of a daughter. We're always talking about how boys and girls are different. And we talk a lot about just what it means to be a girl. And our conversations sound very different from the conversations I might have had 20 years ago when I was in college, or even 30 years ago when I was a teenager. When I was a teenager, I was raised in a family culture that told me that my purpose was literally to get married and have babies. And yes, I was supposed to go to college, but only because college was the perfect place to meet a high quality husband, and it would give me a career to fall back on in that short window of time between graduating and starting a family. But when I went to college, though, my teachers and mentors taught me that life was big And there was so much you could do. And it didn't matter whether you were a female student or a male student, because opportunities were open to everyone. And I learned to ask the bigger questions, like whether women have unique gifts to share with the world because of the way we view the world and the way we make moral decisions. Now, you've probably had your own journey of understanding what it means to be a woman. And so your answer to that question, what is the purpose of a woman, will end up shaping your life in really lasting ways. The second question you should be asking yourself is this: what were you put here on this earth to do? Or if it sounds better, what's your destiny? Like, why were you born in this place, in this time? Why do you have the talents and the gifts and the experiences that you have? As a parent, I teach my daughter that we all come down to earth with a mission. So there is something that we want to accomplish during our time here on earth, some lesson we want to learn, some positive impact we want to make. But here's the catch: we've forgotten what it is. And so we have to become detectives in our own lives, following the clues to figure out why we're here and what we're meant to do. When you can trust that you are here in this life for a reason, even if you don't know yet what that reason is, you're not as susceptible to following the tide of popular opinion. You've got an agreement with your own soul, and it takes precedence over what other people think you should do. Now, for me, knowing that I have a purpose to achieve in this lifetime that's just between me and my soul and no one else has helped me achieve incredible things. I have lived the kind of life that I only read about in adventure books growing up. And there's no way I could have done it if I wasn't able to block out the social pressure and hear the calling of my own soul. Now, the final question to ask yourself is this: what's the story you're telling about yourself and your life? So if you believe, like my family did, that the purpose of a woman is to get married and have babies, then you will tell the story of your life very differently than if you believe that your purpose is to listen to your soul. Now, be careful when it comes to the story that society wants you to tell about yourself. Society can try to tell you that single women are a failure because no man wants them and they'll grow old alone in a tiny apartment with hundreds of cats. And that's one story, but it's a kind of silly story. It displays a very caricatured view of what women are for. This idea that women are just waiting to be picked by men and that they're worthless if they haven't been chosen is pretty medieval, right? So for me, a good story to tell yourself is the story of how you have remained true to you. Yes, you've been in relationships that didn't work out, but thank goodness, because those relationships couldn't ultimately support your well-being and your growth as a person. And now you've got all of this life experience and you know how to love and be loved. And you are discerning the people you allow into your life. So yes, I think your life is a success because you keep making choices that move you forward and you contribute wherever you can to make the world a better place. So however you choose to tell the story of you, I hope you tell it as a hero's journey, one where you've faced obstacles and overcome some of them, where you've gone off the beaten path and stumbled, but ultimately learned, where you may have lost social approval, but ultimately found the truth of your own soul. And I hope that your story ultimately includes a partner in crime, a man who holds your hand and walks side by side with you into the light. Because life is just better with love and support and affection. But always remember this: the man was never the goal. Love was the goal. And love is something that two healthy people create together in partnership and connection for the highest good of them both. And if you would like to learn more about how to attract love in a way that keeps you grounded and centered in your own truth, then I would like to share with you my book, The Pleasure Principle. I created it because I was sick and tired of attraction advice all centered on what men want. I was like, where's the advice centered on what women want? Like, don't we deserve to experience love that pleases us rather than spending all of our time and energy on pleasing men? So you can learn all about it. I will put the link to it below. Take really good care of yourself, and I will see you next time.